Hi, I'm Matt Rubin of the Atlantic Avenue LDC. I just had one thing. Peter, probably when you mentioned the parking spots and you'd already mapped it out and you figured 500 was, what was going to happen anyway, but this question is in my mind if it's in terms, following up Gibbs' point about housing, open space, school, all the things on 1129 that sort of aren't going to happen. The thing that always rattles around in my brain is the open space, because it'd be easy enough to have some open space versus parking. A few basketball courts, some swing sets, this and that, which wouldn't be a permanent and expensive investment. Is there any consideration for that? I know maybe it's late in the game, but it could be painted black and white with a big B on it, and it might be good public relations.
You mean in the parking lot?
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be in the parking lot, but in 1129. Yeah.
1129.
Yeah.
Something we're constantly looking at, trying to figure out a way to use space that's not being utilized, turn into green space. We always attempt to work towards that. Block 1129 currently, though, and unfortunately, even after the arena opens, will be used not only just for the parking lot, but for construction staging. And then we were required to go to the section along Vanderbilt, Long Island Railroad, for their offices that we displaced from the car shop. So there's really not any room on that block. As we continue to shift things and move the staging areas further north, and we'll continue to reevaluate and look for areas that we can turn into green space.
Fair question.
Yeah, what is the parking for? Again, I'm sorry, this is like water under the bridge, but Madison Square Garden doesn't have parking, right? Or do they have parking? Subsurface parking?
First of all, Madison Square Garden is in a similar situation as this arena being located one of the biggest transportation hubs. But also there's Midtown Manhattan is a very different situation from this neighborhood as well, because there are so many existing garages, not necessarily affiliated with MSG, but they're available especially during game time, because that's when all the workers from the area are leaving and making those spaces available. So they don't have their own garages, but there's plenty of space there for the people who do decide to drive. But again, there's New Jersey Transit, Long Island Railroad, and all of those similar ones. In this situation, there are also lots of available garage spaces in 1.5 mile radius. But we had committed to providing a certain number of parking spaces based on the demand that we projected. And therefore, without the rest of the arena block being developed, which was where, under those residential buildings, which is where the garages would have been, because you cannot put an underground garage underneath an arena according to the regulations. So we had to find property elsewhere that was under project control, and that was 1129, and that's this multi-purpose space where it's going to be available for arena patron parking, construction worker parking, construction staging, and a variety of other things. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, it did, but the questions can go on and on. But it is sort of water under the bridge. But looking for more public open space would be great, and maybe investment in other areas, maybe not on 1129 in neighborhoods, to compensate for the lack of open space would be